The Department of Road has started taking actions against contractors that occupy projects of construction of roads and bridges but failed to complete works within the deadline. The department has started returning the received amount and imposing fines against construction companies that failed to accomplish their projects despite repeated extension of deadlines. The department has now expedited actions against such companies as the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA) intensified its crackdown against the companies that delay the development projects in various pretexts. The department has begun actions against more than 100 contractor companies failing to complete their projects on time after finding massive irresponsibilities on the part of such companies in construction of bridges. The department in the past 2 weeks has corresponded with banks for return of around 700 million rupees from 50 such contractors. The amount being recalled by the department is under the mobilization fund provided to the contractors following contract agreements. More than 20 million rupees of such amount has been returned so far. However, the department has planned to strengthen its approach, citing collusion between the contractors and banks against returning the money. The department has also begun imposing fines on the contractor companies missing their deadlines. Around 70 million rupees in fine has been collected in the past 1 month alone. Papu Constructions of suspended parliamentarian Harinarayan Rauniyar and former Minister Bikram Pandey's Kalika Constructions are among those against whom actions have been taken by the department. Rauniyar's position of parliamentarian is also under suspension after the CIAA filed a case against his company for extreme irregularities while constructing bridges. Actions being taken by the department is a positive sign, especially at a time when the government bodies themselves have been alleged of colluding with contractor companies in delaying the development and construction projects. However, such an initiative must not completely depend on the active role of the anti-graft body. Now, the first meeting of the Inter-Provincial Coordination Council has begun in the capital 4 months after Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli failed to allocate his time for the previously planned session. Heads of the provincial governments expressed their frustrations towards the behavior of the central government at the meeting and also complained of being denied of their constitutional rights. At the meeting of the council chaired by Prime Minister Oli, the chief ministers alleged the central government of being the major hurdle leading to the failure of provincial governments. The participating chief ministers reflected the helpless situation their governments are facing because of the absence of required laws, human resources and coordination among other aspects. Meanwhile, the provincial governments have sought assurance from the central government in making the best use of their rights. They opined that major cause behind the sluggishness in implementing federalism was the failure on the part of the central government in acknowledging the genuine concerns of the provincial governments. In reply, Prime Minister Oli said that he was continuously working towards strengthening federalism, which he said was in its embryonic stage. Meanwhile, the chief ministers complained of the lack of budget for regular operation as well. Meeting of the Inter-Provincial Coordination Council was held for the first time after 10 months since the formation of the provincial governments. Efforts from the federal government has evidently been lacking in this respect. However, the meeting has opened doors to do away with the lack of coordination between the central and the provincial governments. Disregarding the value of time is a common habit of most of us Nepalese citizens. In addition to that, political leaders and high-ranking officials making the organizers of programs, invitees and participants wait has become a way of exhibiting seniority and arrogance of their designation. 4 senior leaders of Nepal Communist Party (NCP) boycotted the secretariat meeting scheduled for Saturday, citing the failure to start the meeting on time. Although they expressed discontent against NCP chairman duo Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal, their actual anger was against Prime Minister Oli. Former Prime Ministers Madhav Kumar Nepal and Jhalanath Khanal and former Deputy Prime Ministers Bhamdev Gautam and Narayan Kaji Shrestha boycotted the meeting, citing the trend of the leadership of avoiding meetings in the first place and making the invitees wait for long periods of time even after calling them. The major reason of the boycott, however, is the internal disputes within the ruling party. The leaders who boycotted the meeting but have said that they did so to pressure the party leadership to begin meetings on time. Prime Minister Oli is way ahead in making the organizers, invitees and participants wait at the party meetings and public programs. In fact, he reached the much-awaited meeting of the Inter-Provincial Council participated by the chief ministers of all 7 provinces an hour and a half late yesterday as well. In addition to that, he just stayed for around 20 minutes and disappeared for 45 minutes. The Prime Minister, who directs his officials to make the best use of time himself, not respecting the essence of time, reflects his failure in abiding by his own preachers. A little can be expected in terms of national prosperity if leaders like Prime Minister Oli, who heads the government and other significant positions, disrespect time and its significance. It is now time for a short break, but for more news, to stay with us. The government invests around 13 billion rupees aimed at the development of the higher education sector every year. However, recent data has shown that almost 70% of that investment is wasted. There are 11 universities and 6 health science academies equivalent to universities across the country. Over 371,000 students are enrolled in these academic institutions. However, only 30% of the total students pass their courses this year. According to the University Grant Commission (UGC), the passing rate stands at 5% in normal subjects with 37% in technical courses. The government in this year alone had invested 13 billion rupees for higher education. The UGC has concluded that 70% of investment is being wasted, considering the proportion of students passing and failing the courses. This is the consequence of the failure of the leadership at universities to prioritize equality education. Admission of students, examinations and publication of results is not going by the academic calendar. This has therefore reduced the trust and faith of students and guardians towards Nepalese universities. Around 60,000 students leave Nepal seeking academic opportunities in other countries every year because of the lack of quality education in their own country. This trend of brain drain cannot be reduced if the universities do not upgrade their academic quality. It is imperative for the stakeholders and key decision makers to consider this harsh reality and act upon it with genuine concern and serious efforts. The Parliamentary Hearing Committee has endorsed ambassadors recommended for 4 countries including India. Meeting of the Hearing Committee held yesterday endorsed Nilambar Acharya as the ambassador for India, Udairaj Pandey for Malaysia, Krishna Prasad Dhakal for United Arab Emirates UAE and Anjan Shakya for Israel. Endorsement of the ambassadors has opened doors for their formal appointment as no complaints were filed against their recommendation. Nilambar Acharya has said that he had accepted the government's proposal for his role as the ambassador to India to improve diplomatic ties with the southern neighbor. Acharya, who is a member of the Eminent Persons Group for Nepal-India Relations, is a former law minister and a former ambassador for Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Udairaj Pandey, who will be the ambassador for Malaysia, has the experience of serving as the ambassador for Saudi Arabia. Joint Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Krishna Prasad Dhakal, who will serve as the ambassador for UAE, had previously worked as the acting ambassador in India, while Anjan Shakya, the new ambassador for Israel, had worked as the deputy director at the Institute of Foreign Affairs. We've got more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break. Temperature has started to plummet by the day in several districts of the Tarai region with the onset of winter season. The cool waves that hit during the months of January and February cripple the lives of people in the region every year. However, the trend of providing winter relief to those in need only after people start losing their lives still continues. In this context, we had asked the residents of Dhanusa, what should all 3 levels of government prioritize to protect the public from the cold spell? Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
राज्य जनताको लागि हो राज्यले जनतालाई बचाउन सकेन भने सुविधा दिन सकेन भने राज्यको केही अर्थ रहदैन हिटर र ओर्ने सामग्रीहरू र सक्यो भने खानपिनका यो पौष्टिक आहारहरू पनि वृद्ध र बच्चालाई स्पेशली दिनुपर्छ दाउराहरू पनि बाँड्नुपर्छ
जुन एकदम निर्धन छन् सडकमा बसेर आफ्नो जीवन बिताइरहेका हुन्छन् तिनीहरूलाई न्यानो कपडाको व्यवस्था
अवेयरनेस प्रोग्रामहरू दिनुपर्छ सबै ठाउँमा गएर
न कम्मल बाटेर गरिबको लागि कम्मल बाटिरहेछ न दौडा ठाउँमा दौडा राख्नु पर्यो अहिलेको टाइममा त्यो पनि छैन
यो ठण्डाको कुरो जहाँ तम्म छ यो त परम्परागत हो यसमा त सरकारलाई पूर्ण ध्यान दिनुपर्ने कुरो हो
स्थानीय सरकारले के गर्न सक्ने हो प्रदेश सरकारले के गर्न सकिने हो र संघीय सरकारको भूमिका के हुने हो भन्ने चाहिँ प्लान चाहिँ वास्तवमा स्थानीय लेभलमै हुनुपर्छ
It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, why have the online services offered by the land revenue offices become ineffective? Your options are A, no chance for corruption. Option B is lack of technology-friendly staff. And the final option, option C, is no willpower. The voting is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C, and then send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. With this, let's move on to the sports news.
Sports news.
2 matches under the Everest Premier League are slated for today. First match of the day will see Chitwan Tigers take on Kathmandu Kings, while Pokhara Rhinos play against Lalitpur Patriots in the second match. The first match began a short while ago at Kirtipur Stadium. Chitwan had suffered an 11-run loss against Lalitpur in their first match of the tournament. Meanwhile, it will be the first match for Kathmandu at the league. Chitwan had failed to secure a win in their first match as their star player Paul Sterling had failed to shine. Chitwan will aim to make a comeback with a win against Kathmandu today, while Kathmandu themselves would want to make a sound start to their journey with a win. The second match will see Pokhara Rhinos take on Lalitpur. Lalitpur had lost the inaugural match of the league against Biratnagar but had seen off Chitwan in their second match. However, Lalitpur will be without Sandeep Lamichhane as he has left for Australia to participate at the Big Bash League. Sandeep had picked 3 wickets as Lalitpur had won their second match. Meanwhile, Pokhara, who had posted the highest EPL runs of 215 and yet lost the match, will aim to make a comeback against Lalitpur today. Bhairava Gladiators had secured a 4-wicket win against Pokhara in the high-scoring match played yesterday, which saw an outstanding century from Indian recruit Ravinder Singh for Bhairava. Pokhara had won the toss and chose to bat first, where they posted a record 215 runs for the loss of 5 wickets, aided by some aggressive batting display from Richard Levy. In reply, Ravinder Singh remained unbeaten at 125 runs as Bhairava reached the target in 19.6 overs, losing 6 wickets. 2 remaining matches of the Game Week 7 of the Martyrs Memorial A Division League are scheduled for today. First match of the day will see 3-1 Army Club take on Brigade Boys, while the second match is slated between Manang Marsangdi Club and Machindra. Army will aim to continue the impressive run to reduce the deficit with the league leaders in the match against Brigade Boys, which kicks off at 11 a.m. at Anfa Complex, Saddabato. The departmental side had to settle for a draw in their previous match. Army's strike force may be too hot to handle for a relatively weaker side in Brigade Boys. Meanwhile, Brigade Boys will aim to hold Army at the least for a point. Brigade Boys are placed 11th in the league table with 4 points from 6 matches, while Army are 4th with 14 points. The second match of the day will see Manang Marsangdi take on Machindra. MMC are unbeaten at the league and are placed at the top of the table with 6 consecutive wins. Machindra is yet to register a win at the league and have suffered 3 losses and drawn thrice from their 6 matches so far. The A Division League matches played yesterday saw 3-star blank Jalakhel Youth Club 2-0, while Armed Police Force crushed Saraswati Youth Club 3-0 and Chassel saw Friends Club 3-1. Juan Quintero's stunning extra-time strike helped River Plate come from a cold down to record a historic victory over 10-man Boca Juniors in Madrid and win the Copa Libertadores. Quintero scored in the 109th minute of the second leg before teammate Gonzalo Martinez wrapped up a 3-1 victory on the night for River and a 5-3 win on aggregate. Martinez ran the ball into an empty net with the last kick of the game after Boca keeper Esteban Andrada had been caught upfield at a corner. That ended a dramatic extra-time period which had started with the sending off of Boca midfielder Wilmar Barrios for a second bookable offense, a 2-footer challenge on Ezequiel Palacios. Martinez's goal completed a dramatic turnaround in the match, moved more than 6,000 miles from Buenos Aires in Argentina to the Spanish capital after its postponement in November, when Boca's team bus was attacked by River fans, causing injury to players and staff. Dario Benedetto had fired Boca into the lead shortly before halftime at Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Former Barcelona striker Lucas Prato equalized for River in the second half when he slotted home a cutback at the end of a slick passing move. The crowd spent majority of the match standing up, and many River fans were seen crying with delight when their team equalized. Those supporters were delirious with joy as the team came back to win in the additional half an hour. It was the first time in the 58-year history of the Copa Libertadores that the 2 great Buenos Aires rivals have faced each other in the 2-legged final, with the first leg on the 11th of November ending in a 2-all draw. Inside the Bernabeu, a vacant block of seats acted as a buffer between the 2 sets of supporters. The road outside was closed for the entire day and around 2,500 police officers were on duty. And now before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. Department of Roads starts taking actions against contractors leaving infrastructure projects stranded for years. Banks refuse to comply. Meeting of the Interprovincial Coordination Council held after 10 months since the formation of the provincial governments. Chief ministers come up with a number of complaints. 13 billion rupees of annual budget spent for developing higher education goes to vain. As much as 70% students fail examinations. And Chitwan Tigers taking on Kathmandu Kings while Pokhara Rhinos play against Lalitpur Patriots at the Everest Premier League today. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.